And from here, we're going to Abuja, where Makwe Ogun has further stories on tonight's news. Hi, Makwe.
Hello, laddies. Great to see you here. A senior advocate of Nigeria, Robert Clark, believes good governance and not necessarily the publication of a looters list is what Nigeria needs at this time. Although the senior lawyer commends the release of a list of looters by the federal government, he believes it's rather selective. He explains that the list singles out alleged PDP looters, adding that the opposition party would likewise publish a list of APC looters if it comes into power. He was speaking on our breakfast show, Sunrise Daily, where he challenged those who feel their names have been unfairly included in the list to justify their claim.
In the context of the publications, there is nothing definitely wrong. Nigerians must be aware of the so-called looters, if they are looters, and if anybody feels that his name has been put there without any justification, then the whole world will be ready to listen to him. But you see, let me be frank, enough is enough in Nigeria. We've never had the benefit of any good government since 1960. The system that we have been carrying on with from 1999 allows for looting. So the more people are shown to be looters, the better. But that does not stop the looting. It will continue until the system is changed. This fight for corruption has to start one way. After Obasanjo left, nobody, looked into his government. If the succeeding government was like APC then and opposition, they will have looked into its governance. If tomorrow APC loses election and PDP comes back, they are going to do the same. They are going to do the same. And then you will find that the names in the list will be APC and not PDP. So, you see, don't let us find an excuse. We are starting a war against corruption. It has to start somewhere.
Mr. Robert Clark, senior advocate of Nigeria. Now, staying with the list of alleged looters, the immediate past governor of Niger State, Muazu Aliyu, is demanding an apology from the federal government and also threatening to take legal action. The former governor is insisting that he did not participate in the sharing of 1.6 billion naira as alleged by the government. He says his relationship with the government at the center was frosty at the time the money was shared, and he was excluded from the sharing arrangement. Mr. Aliyu says, quote, "Let me categorically state for the record that I never received such amount from the Jonathan administration. As leader of the G7, I was not considered loyal enough to be entrusted with the fund, which, as we may all recall, was meant for campaigns." End of quote. The former Niger State governor insists his good name has been dragged in the mud. He's already consulting with his lawyers on the next line of action to take on the issue. He further urged the federal government to be balanced in naming and shaming alleged looters, adding that the list is far from being exhaustive. Away from that list now, road sweepers engaged by the Edo State government have taken to the streets of Benin City, the state capital, to protest the non-payment of their 6-month salary arrears. The protesters, in their numbers, also stormed the government house, Benin City, to complain to the state governor, Godwin Obaseki. Meanwhile, in a reaction to the protest, the general manager of the State Waste Management Board said the salary backlog, which was between 2 to 3 months, is as a result of ongoing restructuring in the agency for more efficiency.
Road sweepers, mostly women, clashing with security officials as they attempt to gain access into the government house in Benin City. The sweepers say they decided to stage a protest after exhausting other options to get the State Waste Management Agency to pay them their salaries since October 2017.
They call us back. Now we come out, don't they sweep? We sweep now. Our money complete 6 months now. They don't want to pay. Some of the children, they didn't write exam because they don't have money to pay their school fee. They drove them away from the school.
Some of them say they have gone through some very harrowing experiences due to lack of money. as a result of the government indebtedness to them.
Because of this non-payment last year, I not quit treat my baby in time. This pikin convulsed, unconscious for 4 days. I land in UBTH. I borrow over 100,000. The one they paid till that October, I use and settle debt. It not even finish. The remaining money about 30,000, they draw me everywhere. I have no peace on my own. Okay, the one I work, may they pay me, they pay debt. They not agree pay me, and I not any other place when I get home.
Reacting to the protest, the general manager of the Edo State Waste Management Board, Prince Ayamenhwe Akonofan, said the government is only owing the sweepers 2 months.
The government had agreement with the contractors who employed them initially, but government in its benevolence, after stopping those contractors, decided to bring them back, and so we profiled them. But there was a little delay because most of them were not around to supply the details that we wanted.
This is not the first time that these road sweepers are having issues over their unpaid salaries, but the government has promised to ensure it doesn't happen again.
To security matters now. In a bid to keep security top-notch within the Gulf of Guinea, navies from 26 countries have taken part in the 8th edition of Obangame Express. Although Gabon hosted for the year, 4 Nigerian Navy vessels and 2 helicopters embarked on simulations within the maritime space. Focus was on curbing crude oil theft, anti-piracy, illicit drug smuggling, and illegal fishing.
The route is charted, and the officers of the Nigerian Navy are set to join 25 other countries for Obangame Express 2018. The essence is to ensure all vessels carrying out one form of business or the other within the very vast Gulf of Guinea are safe from attacks. Improved capacity for countries to be able to monitor and safeguard their territorial waters require opportunities to be provided for information sharing, refined tactics, techniques and procedures.
In the course of the exercise, we'll be looking at anti-piracy situation, where we want to see how we can improve on how we board the vessels that are engaged in this kind of illegality.
Sets of operations carried out include tactical maneuvering, vessels boarding, search and seizure, search and rescue, which are typical of real-life experiences in the maritime sphere.
We are working in synergy with other maritime nations, with Cameroon, with Gabon, with Angola, with Ghana, and they're all taking part in this exercise. So all is geared towards giving us safer waters. Of course, I'm sure you understand the economics of maritime defense, how a peaceful maritime can be translated into economic prosperity for all the nations.
Night around 23:40 hours around Okori and Agbara oil field, we had a distress call from two ships. Two ships sent a distress call, and we were able to respond accordingly and repel the attack.
With Obangame Express 2018 done and dusted, countries within the Gulf of Guinea can now sit back and evaluate their combined capacity to keep the mineral-rich area safe from illicit operations through inter-regional and regional cooperations. Chris Elems, Channels Television News.
In north-central Nigeria, Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has warned criminal elements to relocate from the state or face the full wrath of the law. The governor issued the threat at Irekpeni village along the Lokoja-Okene highway when he visited troops of exercise catch race deployed to the state by the Chief of Army Staff. He also assured the people of Kogi that the military operation will effectively contain criminal activities in the state.
The deployment of troops to Nigeria's north-central states in an exercise tagged cat race, according to the Nigerian Army, is aimed at preventing clashes between farmers and herdsmen, as well as flushing out criminal elements.
Thank you.
Kogi is one of the states experiencing those challenges, and the governor, dressed in full army combat fatigues, visits the troops in Irekpeni, where they are camped. Governor Yahaya Bello is here to acquaint himself with the military operation and demonstrate his support. He is conducted around the camp to witness the soldiers' activities and facilities.
We are here and we will boost your morale even more by the grace of God. We'll continue to support you in our little way in terms of logistics and information so that you get this job done as quickly as possible. I thank you. I thank the Nigerian Army. I thank the Chief of the Army Staff. I thank the officers and men that are here serving us in Kogi State.
Afterwards, the governor partakes in their meal, which he seems to appreciate.
I decided to visit the troops, that are carrying out this exercise today in the field, and I met them, in a very high morale, and they're doing an excellent job. And the crimes and criminality has been brought down to the barest minimum in Kogi State. We've done our best in the past, and they're equally complimenting us now. And I did tell everybody and investors that Kogi State is the safest in the country today.
Launched in February, exercise cat race was to have lasted for 6 weeks, but has been extended for another couple of months, which the army says is to enable them consolidate on the gains.
And there is a development on the threat by the police to enforce the arrest warrant on Senator Dino Melaye if he refuses to show up at the force headquarters in Kogi State. The senator is now warning the police to stop what he calls his unnecessary trial in the media. Senator Melaye told Channels Television that he will only appear in court on the date fixed by the trial judge.
Number one, police must refrain from media trial. The court adjourned to May the 10th, and I was represented in court. Police asked that day for a warrant of my arrest. The court declined and refused to grant it, and said despite the fact that I've not been served, I was represented in court. So the police must refrain from showing desperation. And since court have adjourned till 10th of May, police cannot take over the responsibility of the Nigerian court. They are prosecuting this matter. They are not the judge in this case. If I am not in court, it is the court that will give order or give whatever instructions. The case is out of the hands of the police once I have been arraigned. And the court in Lokoja on 28th of March adjourned till 10th of May. And I was represented by my lawyers in court. And my lawyers requested to be served in the court premises, and they were duly served.
The reaction of Senator Dino Melaye to the police threat to enforce a warrant of arrest on him. Federal lawmakers from Kaduna State are at loggerheads over the Senate's rejection of a $350 million World Bank loan for the state. Some members of the House of Representatives have described the denial as not only political, but also a reflection of the abuse of power by some senators from Kaduna. The state caucus, which has 15 members from both the PDP and APC, says it supported the state government's plan to access the loan because it believes it will boost agricultural development and infrastructure in the state. However, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Local and Foreign Debts, Senator Shehu Sani, insists that no amount of blackmail will compel the Senate to endorse the request.
It was that submission that the Minister of Finance saw, and she now took it to her own governor because of the enormous benefit this will bring to the state. She took it to her governor, and her governor also applied, looking for 350 million. So it's the same Senate, the same condition, the same amount of money. They approved, but they refused to approve that of Kaduna. You can know that something is wrong. is strictly political. It has nothing to do with development. The interests of those who were opposed to it were strictly for their own personal and selfish reason, and not for the benefit of the people of this state.
All requests must follow due process. It's not alone you telling us that this is what you want to do with the money. We have to verify a number of things. Number one, what is the debt profile of your state? And if you get this loan, will you be able to pay this loan and pay salary? Will you be able to pay this loan and pay your contractors? And will this loan not be a burden to our children and our own grandchildren? This is what I want you to understand.